Good morning, everyone. This is Nick Petro at the National Weather Service in Raleigh with your 11:30 update here regarding Debby and its impacts on central North Carolina. And it's 11:30 on the 8th of August, 2024. So we're going to start here with the radar. A couple things here I wanted to point out, and let me go ahead and pause this for a moment. And first thing I wanted to point out here is there's a tornado warning that was just issued literally moments ago for western Greene County and northwestern Lenoir County. And this is exactly what we've been talking about all morning and have been experiencing, is these little rotating cells in these bands moving around the center, the overall center of Debby. So as I pointed out earlier at our 11:30, each of these bands will have the capability to have, little cells that rotate. I'm not saying there are rotating cells in each one of these. There is right here with this cell in Greene County. But remember, it's not uncommon to have tornadoes in these outer rain bands, but they typically, if the center of Debby's down here somewhere, it's typically on the right side of a tropical cyclone where these little spin up tornadoes occur. Okay, so again, we're keeping our eyes closely on this band. We're keeping our eyes closely on this band. We'll be watching these bands as well to see if anything is rotating. Obviously, earlier during the overnight hours, we had several tornado touchdowns. The one in Wilson County, we had one in Franklin County with considerable damage. Structural damage. So again, as we have been advertising for days, these bands on the right side of the center are the ones that typically have the capability to produce these quick spin-up tornadoes. As you can see, the big band that dropped all that heavy rain last night has been this band. This band was the one that was producing rainfall rates of 1.5 inches per hour, and that band you see there, thankfully, is lifting north and lifting out of central North Carolina. It's still going to be a little while before the heaviest rain with that exits. Once this band you see right here exits, once this band again here exits, then it's just going to be a matter of scattered bands. There's this band, there's this band, there's this band, there's other little showers in here again. So it's just going to be hit or miss, off and on, scattered showers throughout the rest of this event, basically throughout the rest of this afternoon. And keep in mind, any of these bands can result in a wind gust, of 30, maybe 40 miles per hour. Any of these individual bands, if they keep moving over the same place, can produce localized flash flooding. So to demo that a little bit better, let me switch screens here, and let me switch to a different screen. Hopefully you can see the switch over. Okay, there it goes. I believe you can see that. So I'm going to show a couple tools that we use at weather.gov/Raleigh. If you go under current conditions, again, mouse over, don't click. And then once you mouse over and highlight observation map, then left click that. And that will show you current conditions. I like to turn on the state and county boundaries and then go to observations. And the first thing I want to do, well, actually, let me turn on radar first. Here's the radar. This is live radar. And let me show you what the wind gusts have been like during the past hour or so. And you can see, let me get my pointer here to highlight this. You can see there have been some gusts, 31, 35 miles per hour at Greensboro, Winston-Salem, a gust of 30 at RDU. There's a 32 there up near Warrenton, a 30 up by the Virginia border. Now, you're probably thinking, well, 30 miles per hour, or 35 even, isn't that strong. But when you put that wind pressure on a tree whose roots are sitting in soggy earth, that results generally in trees that fall very easy compared to, if the ground was dry. So again, each of these bands you see rotating through will have the opportunity to give us some wind gusts, in the 30s, which could produce some additional downed trees. So that will be a concern through the rest of this event. How much rain has fallen? If you go to precipitation and you change this to 36 hours, that should pretty much encompass all the rain of the event. And really, we've already seen an extra inch or two in some places compared to what we were looking at this morning at 9:30. Look at that, 4 inches of rain in the Chapel Hill area, 3 to 4 inches of rain in western Wake County down to Cary. There's some 5-inch amounts near Fayetteville. We've got some 3-inch amounts, 4-inch amounts northeast of Raleigh. And remember, all these places that were in 1-inch amounts now have climbed up above 2 inches. Now that the heavy rain has moved through, so close to 3 inches, around 3 inches in the Triad region. So yeah, definitely this event has produced pretty much the rain that we were expecting, a general 3 to, in some cases, 6 inches of rain for the most part, and we're not done yet. So you know, for locations that get into these heavier bands, you could expect at least maybe 3/4 to an inch, inch and a half of additional rainfall. So when we're all said and done with this event, most places we're going to see a range of about 4 to 8 inches of rain total when this is all said and done by tomorrow morning. Okay, so again, that flash flood risk will continue through the rest of the day as these heavy bands rotate through and put down more rain. Okay, so let's take a look at this from the standpoint of how we expect the reflectivity and how this to evolve. So this is roughly about right now with the radar. This is a simulation. This is not live radar. This is a simulation. And I want to point out how in the time, look at the time at the bottom of the screen. You can see the valid time down here, 1 p.m. today. And as I step forward, 2 p.m., 3 p.m., 4 p.m., by 4 p.m., we're expecting the rest of that solid, consistent band to be up into Virginia, and at that point, just dealing with additional bands rotating in from the east and southeast. Okay, so this is 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock this evening, 10 p.m., 11 p.m., midnight. Okay, so the idea here is, even though that steady band of rain that dumped 2 to 4 inches of rain last night will be moving up into Virginia here in the early afternoon, we're still going to be dealing with one wave after another of these scattered downpours and scattered gusty showers. Okay, so we're not done yet. It's hard to say that any one place over another will be hit harder. It's just going to be hit or miss at this point. It looks like, you know, there could be several of these bands moving through. Again, let me take you through this one more time. So this is 2 p.m. this afternoon, 3 p.m., 4 p.m. By 4 p.m., the heaviest of it should be up into Virginia, but additional bands moving across central North Carolina. There's 5 p.m., 6 p.m. You can see there's a band moving through the Triad that's going to make for some messy weather out there for the evening rush. There's a band here across the coastal plain and northern I-95 corridor. There's a band here moving through the Triangle region. So it's really just kind of these bands that kind of hit or miss. There's a pretty consolidated band here around 9 p.m. that extends from the I-40 corridor, basically extending up through the Triangle and the Triad. So it's just going to be off and on rain with heavy downpours at times and gusty winds at times right through this evening. And then this is midnight tonight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m., 6 a.m., 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. Here's 11 o'clock tomorrow morning, and by noon, the heaviest should be out of central North Carolina. Okay? So let me summarize this. The heaviest rain you see, let me go back to live radar real quick. This heavy rain that you see up along the Virginia border, down towards the Triad and Triangle, all that heavy rain is going to lift up into Virginia during the early afternoon, and then for the rest of the day, it's just going to be these bands, one after another, that moves across. It won't be raining all day, but when it does rain, it should come down pretty hard. It might be pretty gusty, and that'll continue this afternoon through this evening, and then over night, the whole thing finally begins to shift east, and by tomorrow morning, it's moving out. Okay? So let me go back to my other screen real quick here. And a couple odds and ends I want to show. Let's go back to weather.gov and let's take a look at the rivers. If you go to weather.gov/Raleigh, mouse over rivers and lakes, and then go down to the mouse over river forecast, left click on that. And
and that will take you to our river forecast page. And yeah, this is all fresh, updated. These are all have all been updated since we talked at 9:30 this morning. And look at all the purple dots. We have almost every single river in central North Carolina going to major flood. Okay. And you might be wondering, well, how is that possible when we've only gotten 3 to 6 inches of rain? And you got to remember, though, prior to Debby, it was pretty wet, pretty soggy. We eradicated the drought with a lot of rain in the last couple of weeks, and the soils are wet. So all the rain we had leading up to this, all the prior to Debby, has set the stage for a 3 to 6 inch rain event to cause major flooding. Okay, so had it been drought like this, had it been dry or drought like prior to Debby, we probably wouldn't be looking at these river problems. But since it was wet prior to Debby, now we are. So starting from the southwest, Rocky River near Norwood, that is forecast to crest near 40 feet, 39 feet. That's going to be Friday early in the morning, overnight tonight. Okay, so look at how quickly that's coming up. The blue dots are live, so it's already in flood stage at the Rocky River. So that's going up pretty quick. So later this evening tonight, it's going to crest, major flood stage there. Moving over to the Cape Fear Basin, the Little River at Manchester. It now is, it looks like the river starts to turn, so maybe that's a good sign. But the forecast, at least right now, shows a cresting. It's 27 feet just at major flood stage at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. We'll see if it continues to make this turn before major flood stage, but nevertheless, it's already in flood stage. Okay, so Cape Fear at Lillington, that one's headed up pretty quick. It seems like it's on track with the forecast to crest at 23.7 feet. That's going to be 2 p.m. tomorrow. And then moving down the river at Fayetteville, that one's on track. You can see the forecast is nicely in line with the observations, cresting at 60 feet. So that's getting pretty high there. Remember the record 68.9 feet. And I believe with Florence, it got to 62 or maybe 63 feet. So just a couple feet below what we had with Florence, believe it or not. And that's not going to crest until Saturday at 8 o'clock. So for our friends in Fayetteville, just a few feet below what we had with Florence. So put that into perspective there. Moving to the Haw River, that is also expected to go into major flood near the record, believe it or not. The record's 32.8 feet, and it's expected to crest at 32.1 feet there Friday morning, tomorrow morning. So yeah, I mean, definitely a somewhat of a big deal here. We've got the Haw River near Bynum in major flood stage, about a half a foot below the record. And looking further east towards the Neuse River, here's Clayton. That's on track with the forecast to crest at 17, up in the major flood stage. Smithfield, for our friends in Smithfield. Again, here's the current obs. It's kind of on track with the forecast. 22.3 feet is the expected crest tomorrow evening, 8 p.m. So anyway, we'll be keeping a close eye on that. Again, tomorrow evening, things are going to be cresting, and then finally, it makes its way down to Goldsboro on the Neuse River, and we've got just barely major, but that's going to take a while for it to get up to there. Probably not until Saturday evening. Looking further north up on the Tar River at Lewisburg, we now have that going into major flood stage, just about a foot below the record. So yeah, it's hard to imagine that a 3 to 6 inch rain event is producing record crests, but that's the way it's shaping up here. Let's see, we've got the the Rocky Mountain major flood stage. That is at Friday at 2 p.m. And then finally at Tarboro. We're going to keep a close eye on that, but just below major flood stage there. Okay, so again, just remember, how do we get to this? If you want to take a closer look, go to weather.gov/Raleigh, go to rivers and lakes, just mouse over it, and then go down here to river forecasts and click that. All right, so that was a lot going on there. Since we normally do a weekly briefing, look further out into the future, let's take a quick look down the road. And what's happening after this? Well, what I've got here on the screen now is the European model, and just randomly picked that model. And you can see as we move forward in time, this is Debby lifting up and out. This is Friday, the rain exiting North Carolina, or central North Carolina, I should say. But look what happens here on Saturday. We have a front that kind of stalls over eastern central North Carolina. So we'll see some sunshine on Saturday, but the eastern portion of the state is likely to see some shower and thunderstorm activity during the late day on Saturday. And it looks like, oh gosh, it looks like okay, it is here. Never mind. Here's Sunday, same thing. More rain on Sunday with that front stalled over the area, unfortunately. So you know, Saturday's looking pretty sunny, at least over central North Carolina, but we could have some more rain moving back in on Sunday. Here is Monday. It looks like mainly eastern North Carolina getting the rain. And then let's see, let's take it to Tuesday. Scattered showers and thunderstorms on Tuesday with really just a very climatological summer pattern. This is Wednesday, and that front looks like it moves a little bit offshore, which is good because maybe we'll see maybe some drier pattern here on Wednesday of next week. Look at that. Thursday is looking really nice. I like Thursday, but look what shows up down here. Look what shows up down here over the Bahamas come late next week. Yeah, that's what the European model's showing. And then as we go forward in time, here's Friday, here's Saturday, and that's as far as the model goes out. So, you know, that's 10 days away. Not saying that's going to happen, but, you know, here we are, 10 days away. There's another system there, tropical system there off the coast of South Carolina. So anyway, lots of weather after we get past Debby. So folks, we really need to pay attention closely to the weather as we head through the next 7 days. Because let's just show you real quick the rainfall. Here's today's rain. Here's tomorrow's rain. Here's Saturday's rain, mainly along the coast. Here's Sunday's rain. I think that rain on well, actually that's Sunday night into Monday. So there could be a little bit more rain than what's otherwise indicated here on Sunday. But there's into Monday into Tuesday, kind of wet, and then same thing in Tuesday. This is Tuesday. And this is Thursday, although I think it might be a little bit drier than maybe what these rainfall forecasts are showing for the middle of next week. But certainly more rain is in the offing as we head through the first half of next week. And then next weekend, we'll have to see if this is going to come to pass. The National Hurricane Center is highlighting an area of disturbed weather out in the middle of the Atlantic, and they're giving it a 30% chance of formation in the next 7 days. So eyes are already looking out to the east to see what is up next on the agenda for the tropical season. So that's what we've got for your 11:30 briefing here on this Thursday, August 8th, while we're dealing with the midst of Debby here for Central North Carolina. Thanks for joining, and for those watching this after the fact on YouTube, thanks so much.